I added blacksmithing to my sandbox RPG, but I didn't just stop there. I added in-depth blacksmithing. You decide how powerful your weapons are, how fancy they look, who has the honor of receiving one of your glorious works of art. Forge your destiny and become the greatest blacksmith known throughout the land. Eventually. First, you will need to put in the work, for we all have to start our journey somewhere. Where will you start yours? By crafting basic weapons for the up-and-coming adventurer. A bulk order of swords for a shop owner's inventory. Work hard, smith, for one day you could be forging high-quality swords for queens and lords. One day you can become a master blacksmith. Howdy, and welcome to Game Endeavor. I'm creating a sandbox RPG with a focus on immersion, world building, and exploration. You could give me the most epic and beautiful, tear-jerking story ever, and I will spend most of my time in the village playing around with whatever side mechanics that the game has to offer. And after my last video, I discovered that I'm not alone. There are others that do this too, so it is for us weirdos that I'm going the extra mile and adding more gameplay hooks into these side mechanics. One of the gameplay branches I'm adding is blacksmithing, but I want you to feel personally invested in your journey as a blacksmith. This has proved to be a little tricky because traditionally in games, blacksmithing is just gathering materials and selecting the item that you want to make, ting ting ting, da 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 da, and the item is made. But I want to do something a little more. So I added an in-depth forging mechanic, where you can customize the individual components of the items you want to craft, such as the sword's blade, guard, pommel, and handle. This applies to all different types of the items you can forge, including a variety of weapons like scythes and hammers, and tools such as axes and pickaxes. The materials you use affect the stats of the item. Some materials hold an edge better, and so are best used as blades, and some materials are more susceptible to enchanting, making them a better choice for items where you want the focus to be on the magical effects. This may also play a role in crafting magical trinkets like staves and charms, but we'll go into more detail about that in the Enchanters video. When you begin a life working at the hot forge, you'll be but a lowly smith, barely able to hammer together a shoddy dagger. But as you craft more items, you'll increase in skill until one day you're crafting fine works of art to be used at ceremonies, and that nobles may display on their walls. This is where the Renown system kicks in. I believe I've mentioned this before in one of my older videos, but the game tracks your reputation in the world as you accomplish tasks such as completing quests, defeating elite enemies, or crafting and selling high quality equipment. People will start to take notice and even make remarks as you build your renown. You'll start getting commissions for items. These can range from a farmer needing a cheap new tool in order to continue their daily work, a mage needing an order of blank swords that are highly enchantable for their students to use when practicing enchanting, to a cleaver requested by Betty to give to Teddy for his birthday. Just don't tell Sue, seeing as how she's the town blacksmith. And Teddy's sister. Oof. I made a community post about the forging system earlier, and Moon offered up an interesting idea, suggesting that I allow the player the option to beat the game as a blacksmith by forging items for a band of heroes who then go off and finish the story for you. I love this, and while I can't guarantee that I will do it, this is something that I am currently designing for and will be considering towards the end of development. I think this fits perfectly. My game is heavily inspired by the Elder Scrolls and Animal Crossing, and all throughout development I've been using this as a design pillar, designing the game in such a way that you can run off and do the story, or just play the game like Animal Crossing, but in an RPG setting. Allowing the player to complete the game like this makes it possible for you to never need to step foot in a dungeon in order to see the story play out from the perspective of someone that lives in the village. Let me know if y'all have any more suggestions for this kind of gameplay. I'm always thinking about ways to work this kind of stuff in. For example, there's a market near the village where you can buy and sell specialty goods. You can buy livestock here, or even crates of ores and materials for crafting purposes. You may not know exactly what's inside the crate, except for the good stuff that they conveniently put on the top, but that's all part of the fun. If you want to support this project, then you can buy my Mystic Woods asset pack. I posted an update which adds new animations for the enemies, so update your pack if you haven't already. And follow the Kickstarter to get notified when it launches. There's a link in the description. Big thanks to the patrons that support my work, and I'll talk to you next time.